Hi guys, Brian from Boas here. A lot of you guys have expressed interest in seeing more of the dwarf boas, so today I want to show you some of my favorite holdback Tarahumara Mountain and Locality dwarf boas that I'm growing up for future breeders here at Boas. If you're new to the channel, this is the place for information about all aspects of keeping and breeding boa constrictors in captivity, so be sure to subscribe if you want to learn more about these amazing animals. If you've been following the channel, you probably know by now that I'm a huge fan of these dwarf Locality boas. They're the perfect boa constrictor for someone who's limited on space and they want the full-bodied boa constrictor behavior in a portable pint-sized package. And as you probably know, two of my all-time favorite dwarf boas are the Locality boa from an island off the coast of Belize and the Tarahumara Mountain boa from northern Mexico. So I'm going to get out my close-up lens and do some close-ups of holdback animals that I have between 6 months and 3 years old that represent the future generation of these Locality boas at my breeding operation. To start off with, this is a 3.5-year-old holdback Tarahumara Mountain dwarf boa. This is a female. And you can see she's maybe 3 feet long. She's probably about a foot or so away from breeding size. So I imagine she'll be ready to breed in about another 2 years. And you can see she's demonstrating the personality of these Tarahumara boas. They're really chill boas. You can see she's just sitting there. She's not trying to get away. They don't move a whole lot compared to many of the other Locality boas. You know, I wouldn't say they're as sedentary as a ball python, but they're definitely one of the chiller boas. So that might be something that you look for in a boa. And they've got beautiful dark coloration. You can see the dark chocolate and mocha colors on this animal. And if you look closely, she's got a lot of pink highlights in her side. Here we have a male from the same litter. So this guy's about 3.5 years old. You can see the beautiful coloration. They have such beautiful earth tones with these pink highlights. And I also love the patterns on these animals. And then one of the characteristics of these animals are these dark head markings. You can see how beautiful that is. And sometimes they have this nice cross between the eyes, but not always. So, but typically the true Tarahumara boas will have these dark head markings. So looks like he's getting a little anxious. You know, generally they'll just hold still and not really move around very much. I can tell from his body language, he's kind of twitching his tail a bit, that this guy wants to go back in his enclosure. But just a beautiful boa. I mean, look at the beautiful markings and the beautiful pink highlights to this guy. This guy is probably about ready to breed. I may pair him up with another female this year that's older than him, or I might give him another year. Just not quite sure yet. This is a holdback from another litter that I produced in 2018, and this one is actually a half sibling to the two that we just saw with the same father, different mother. You can see this guy is a little bit lighter in coloration, and he's got a lot more pink. His mother has a lot of pink, and this guy was one of the pinker ones in the litter, which is why I held him back. But you can see the beautiful pink side coloration and this nice caramel and mocha coloration for his saddles. And then I love this guy that he has this beautiful circle back pattern. You can see these beautiful perfect ovals and circles going down his back. Just a gorgeous boa, both in terms of its coloration as well as his markings. And he's trying to explore a little bit there. This guy's a little more active than his half siblings. And there's a close-up of his head just so you can see a few tongue flicks before we move on to the next contestant. And one more Tarahumara. This is a holdback female from that 2018 litter. And this girl really nicely encapsulates the best traits of both the mother and the father. You can see she favors a little more the father than the mother, or her brother I just showed you, who really looks like his mother. So you can see she looks a little bit more like the first pair that I showed you, but still beautiful pink, this beautiful circle back, and these really nice head markings. She's trying to get away on me, but these really nice head markings similar to her father. So just a gorgeous Tarahumara boa all around. Really a show specimen of this beautiful dwarf locality. Now to shift gears to another locality of dwarf boa, This is a crawl key boa from a small island off the coast of Belize. And this is a 3-year-old holdback. She's actually about 3.5 years old. But these crawl key boas, in general, they're a little more active than the Tarahumara mountain boas, so hopefully she'll sit still for the camera. But you can see they have this beautiful silvery blue-gray coloration, almost anerythristic, lacking most, if not all, the red pigment. And they also have a lot of these background freckling, background markings. One thing that's cool about some of these animals is they often have this pinkish purplish side coloration. Hopefully you can see the overtones of the pastel pinkish lilac colors. But just a real gorgeous animal. They're a lot of fun to handle. They move around a bit more than the Tarahumara, and they do hold on. Although they're not really super squeezy either, like some of the true red tails. So just a great pet for somebody that wants a boa constrictor that's not really going to get any bigger than a king snake or a corn snake, the Locality dwarf boa from Belize. Here we have another one from the same litter. This is a 2017 male holdback. You can see this guy's got a little bit more of a busy pattern. I just kind of love the wild look. And he's maybe a little bit more of a tannish. Sometimes the animals will be a little more tannish versus some are a little more silvery gray. But just beautiful animal. It should be noted that these crawl key boas do change in color quite a bit from light to dark, not unlike the Hog Island boas and some of the other island localities. Right now they're kind of more in their light phase, but they do get a little bit darker at night and when the temperatures are a little bit different. But you can see he's kind of moving around, but pretty chill boa, just kind of exploring, really cool locality boa that I highly recommend for anyone that wants one of these dwarf boas. And I'm going to finish the video with a couple crawl key holdbacks from this year. So these guys are only about 5 months old. And this female just stood out by the presence of this long stripe. Striping is not uncommon on these animals, but this animal you can see has this nice long stripe that takes up maybe about 1/4 of her body length. Just a really cool look. And hopefully I'll be able to produce more striped animals in the future, since people really like the stripes and really definitely want these striped animals in their collection. See, she's a little more apprehensive. I don't want to get nipped here. But you can see just a real cute little jewel of a boa. And looking forward to watching this one grow up over the years. And there's a close-up of this little gem. Who wouldn't want a boa like this in their collection? These crawl key have definitely grown on me over the years. One more animal for today's video. This is a male from my 2020 crawl key litter. You can see he's kind of got the more standard blocky saddles, but the saddles are also slightly irregular. I kind of like the geometric shapes to them. The crawl key boas in general have quite a bit of variability in their saddle shape. As I mentioned, a lot of them have partial striping, but just a cool look overall. This guy is looking a little bit darker. As I mentioned, they do turn color from dark to light, and this is kind of his more dark phase, but he'll get lighter under certain conditions. And I'll leave you with this close-up shot. Just a gorgeous, adorable, cute little dwarf boa. As I mentioned, I don't understand how anybody couldn't love these little crawl key boas. So there you have it, some of my holdback dwarf Tarahumara mountain and crawl key boas. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to shoot me a line. Thanks for watching and enjoy your boas.